Hello, 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 beautiful people of the ISPAP community. Um, we're live. Yes, we're live. How are you guys doing? My name is Mo Malele. I'm sure you guys know a lot. Well, you guys have actually got a lot of content from me throughout the year. All of the Facebook posts, I've been the one writing those stuff. It's been really cool engaging with a lot of you guys through the comments, the likes, the shares, and some of you guys have also been, messaging me, DMing me personally. So this is actually our first live chat. We're gonna see how this thing goes. Please, like, share, comment. You feel free to ask any questions as we're going through this live chat. And also let us know what you guys think of the timing of these chats, the topics we'll be covering. You know, this program that we built it for you guys. And so I really want to make sure you guys know that this lives for you, and that whatever feedback you want to give, please give that feedback freely. But I'm here today at the beautiful ISPAP offices. So let's get into it. So the topic that I want to cover this week is dealing with unforeseen challenges. And the reason why I wanted to cover this topic, particularly at this time of the year, is that we're at that point of the year where, you know, you've had this plan for the year, you've had the certain goals that you wanted to achieve, courses that you wanted to take, that you wanted to pass and so forth, and you've just basically had like a plan for the year. And perhaps you're sitting at a point in time right now where things actually haven't gone according to plan. You have, been hit by challenges that you didn't really think would come through, and that's the truth about life. You have a plan, but along the way, things happen that are not in the plan. In fact, there's this lovely quote by Mike Tyson that I always think about, when I'm going through unforeseen things. I think it goes, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Quote unquote Mike Tyson. I think I might be paraphrasing it, but essentially everybody has a plan until you get hit in the face by something that you didn't see happening. And what's important in life, the first thing is to realize that this is the nature of life. Whatever it is that you've been dealing with throughout the year, or whatever it is that you've just dealt with or that you are dealing with right now, I can promise you one thing, is that as you continue with this journey called life, there will always be something that happens that you didn't think about, that you didn't see, that you didn't account for in the plan. And what's important is to notice that you have to be very conscious and aware of the way that you react to these things. And it sounds very cliche for me to say that, but the truth about unforeseen challenges is that it's not really about what happens to you, but more importantly about how you react. And you need to always ensure that you're reacting with a clear and a sober mind. It also helps to keep the ultimate goal in mind. It's important. And what I can actually say to that is that recently I was engaging with one of the students that I'm mentoring as well. And they were just telling me about a particular challenge that a financial challenge that they're having, and how they're really worried and they're stressed and they're not sleeping well, they're not eating well, and it's actually now starting to affect their studies and their schoolwork. And I was like, hold up, say what now? It's affecting your schoolwork. Like, you're at school to study, you're at school to get an education, to come out with your matric certificate or come out with your degree and move on with life. And if there's anything that's happening that is deterring you from that ultimate goal, you need to nip that in the bud. You need to press pause on that right now, right here. You always have to have the end goal in sight, and understand that whatever comes your way, whatever hits you, it cannot deter you from your end goal, no matter what happens. And I want you guys to remember when I think one of the blog posts that I posted several months back was about not quitting, no matter what happens, or no matter what life throws at you. You've just got to keep going. with the end goal in mind. Another thing that really, I'm sorry guys, I'm just like looking at some of my notes because I've got a lot of stuff that I wanted to say. So I made a couple of notes to make sure that I don't forget anything. But please keep your comments and questions coming up. I'm open to be answering stuff throughout the session, eh? Excuse me. Another thing that really helps when you're dealing with things that are coming up that are unforeseen and things that you didn't actually make let me say plans for when you were building your plan, is the kind of media you consume. And a lot of people don't realize that the media that you consume impacts your state of mind heavily. And I'm going to do a Facebook post about this in September, I think it is. And I'll actually share more information on that. But you need to make sure that the media you're consuming is fueling your end goal and fueling your end vision and giving you the right energy, keeping your mind in the right frame and in the right state. And what I mean by the media you consume is the music you listen to, the shows that you are watching, how long you're spending on social media platforms and what kind of content are you engaging with when you're scrolling through Instagram or scrolling through Facebook or Twitter or Snapchat. If you're engaging with content and material, or media that is fueling a depressive state, or that is fueling negativity, or that is fueling thoughts of failure, thoughts of loneliness, thoughts of inadequacy, what's going to happen is you're going to stay in that space where you're feeling sad, depressed, you're feeling like a failure. You're not going to be, uplifting yourself. So one of the things that I actually do a lot, and like I said, later on, I'll actually share one of my playlists with you guys. But I actually have playlists for every kind of mood that I'm in. And I make sure that when I'm in a sensitive or fragile state where I'm dealing with a lot of challenges and and I'm overwhelmed by life itself and everything that I'm facing, I always make sure that I'm listening to uplifting music. I'm watching uplifting TV shows, I'm listening to uplifting podcasts, things that uplift me, they empower me, they inspire me, they motivate me, they keep my mind focused. And they keep me focused on the end goal, which is the fact that I need to succeed. I need to, get the sale. I need to keep my business growing. It's very important that you are very cognizant, or rather that you are aware, the media that you're consuming, it very heavily impacts your mood and the way that you feel about life and the way that you see things. And it might sound obvious and a lot of people underestimate it, but I see it time and time again, especially with young people, where you come out of an exam and you're feeling very bad about that exam, and or you didn't really do well, you didn't finish, there were a lot of unanswered stuff that you left out, you didn't know some of the stuff, and then you go back to res, or you go back to the place that you're staying at, and then you just like listen to like depressing music that talks about failure and depression and all that kind of stuff. And then you wake up the following morning and you're still feeling low and depressed. It's not a healthy cycle. You need to make sure that even though the test didn't go the way that you had hoped it would go, you come back and you listen to, a motivational talk, or you read some of the posts that I've posted in the past about not quitting, about dealing with failure, about dealing with anxiety, about dealing with loneliness, or you text a friend and you tell them, hey, it didn't go well, but keep the energies up type thing, like talk to someone perhaps. You need to make sure that when you're being faced with unforeseen challenges, that you're fueling the right energies, that you're fueling the right spirit with the content that you are consuming. Otherwise, you're just going into the same cycle. Another thing that really works well, that's something that I do is I have this thing actually where I call time of death on a day. And it sounds really dramatic, but I don't know, it's actually a medical term. So maybe some of you guys in the medical world know this. If you guys like watch medical drama series, you know this term, TOD, time of death. But it's basically where, you know, a doctor just says time of death 11:06. So I actually have that kind of thing that I do for a day or for a situation. When I realize that, okay, fine, I think this day has not at all gone the way that I would have hoped it would. And there's no way of salvaging it anymore. We need to, you know, start from scratch now. That's when I'm like, you know what, this day, I'm done with it. There's no salvaging this day. Time of death, 3:06. There's no salvaging this day. We will regroup tomorrow. You know, I have that thing where I literally look at a situation, and if it's gone too far in the direction I don't want it to go, I stop it and I'm like, I'm not going to dwell on this thing anymore. If I don't have a solution for it now, I'm going to leave it alone. I'll come back tomorrow with a fresh brain, fresh eyes, fresh ears, a rejuvenated spirit and energy, and tackle the problem at hand. Too often people sit with the same problem, the same situation, doing the same things and expecting a different result. I think it's Einstein who said that's the definition of insanity or stupidity. You know, when you're looking at the same thing, or you're doing the same thing, but you're expecting a different result. It's not going to work. And sometimes, honestly speaking, what helps is to be like, you know what, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with this thing for now, for today. For now, I'm done with it. I'll come back at it later on when I've got a fresh brain and a fresh eye, and I can think about it differently and attack it on a new level and at a different direction. So don't get stuck in a situation where you're obsessing and you're fixated on the same problem with no solution. That will lead you actually into a state of depression, a state of anxiety, when you worry about something but you don't have a solution for it, and now you're just worrying about it, and you're worrying about it, and you're worrying about it, and it continues to be a question mark in your life, and you don't actually have a way forward. If you don't have a way forward, park it. It's okay. Tomorrow is another day. There are 24 hours in a day. So if I can't get it done now, let me go for lunch. I'll come back at it after lunch. You know, it's okay sometimes to just like press pause on a situation. Another thing that really helps, and this is something that I use a lot in my life as well, is to know the things that you can change and the things that you can't change. And this is important because, once again, people often worry about things that actually don't concern them. And I know that sounds, you know, ridiculous. It sounds like, but like, what do you even mean? Like, what does that even mean? But honestly speaking, I actually do something in my day and in my life, actually. Like, I do an audit of the things that I'm worried about. And I audit them and put them into, you know, different boxes to be like, this is something that I have influence over, I can impact, and I can change it and move it in a direction that I want it to move. And then the other things are things that I actually don't have any influence, impact, or say over. And I'm not going to spend my time worrying about those things, stressing about them, fixating about them. They're not going to give me sleepless nights. I'm just going to focus on the things that I actually can change and I can move in the direction I want to. And this really is quite helpful. And it helps to actually write these things down, to think about the things that you're worried about. Because so often people worry about things that actually aren't even things. You worry about what other people are going to say. You worry about what other people are going to do. Oh, am I going to get the funding? Am I going to pass the exam? Oh, you know, like, you worry about all these things. And it's like, these are not things to worry about. You know, what you should be worried about is the fact that you need to cover these next 10 chapters in the next 10 days. Don't worry about, oh, the venue and, oh, the timetable, and people worry about things that actually they have no control over. And when you start writing down the things that you're concerned about, you start boxing them into these different categories. You realize that half of the time you're stressed over things that actually you can't change. Something like getting the funding or not getting the funding. You can't, like once you've handed in the application, it's in their hands. All you can do is prepare for the tests, for the exams, pass your courses, and put your best foot forward. Let your results speak for themselves. Once you've written the test, you cannot impact the result. You can't change it. You've written the test, you've handed over the script, leave it alone. Now it's in the hands of the people who need to mark and give you the results. It's their problem now. Maybe in 5 days' time, it will be your problem again because you'll have the results. But then let it go and move on. Do not waste your time and your energy and your resources fixating on things you have no control over. Another thing that, when dealing with unforeseen challenges that I find very helpful is to just keep calm. And keep calm, relax. It's not that bad. It's not the end of the world. Guys, you guys are young, you're in university. The world is your oyster. You're looking at Bophelo ba Gago and you're thinking, there's just so many things that I can experience in life and so many things that I can do. But then you're also thinking, I need to get this degree, or I need to pass this test and pass this exam. If I don't, my life will be over. I engage with students all the time, and I think about myself when I was a student. School was such a big part of your life, and rightfully so, but it was such a big part of your life that you sometimes get stuck in thinking that it's the only thing that will ever happen to me or that I will ever have in life ever. And no, it's really not. When you're faced with these unforeseen challenges, I'll tell you a story actually. I was engaging with someone very close to me, a family member. She's also studying right now. She's in her 3rd year, doing, I think it's genetics and human physiology and stuff like that. And she calls me in tears, she's really emotional. She's just come out of an exam for her major, and it did not go well. And I remember when I was a student, there are those times when you come out of the exam room and you just know that gruff. And she is distraught. She studied so hard. She went through every past paper. She's gone through every chapter in the textbook. She's done consultation. She felt prepped and ready for this, and it's her major, so it's a big deal. And she was completely gutted, that it didn't go the way that she had hoped and the way that she had worked for it to go. But then I'm like, okay, fine. All right, I'm sorry to hear that it didn't go well and that you're not expecting a good result, but firstly, you don't have the result yet. So let's wait until we see the result. But then also, what's the worst that can happen? And she's on the phone. So this is a telephonic conversation. I'm like, just tell me, what is the worst that can happen? What? You fail. Okay, you fail. And then what? After you failed the test, then what? She's like, oh no, then, there's another test that's coming, and then I'll have to get more marks in that one in order to pass the course. So then I'm like, okay, fine. So if you fail this test, that just puts more pressure on the next test in order for you to get an overall mark that qualifies you to pass. Okay. And what's the worst thing that can happen? We're still on the phone. What's the worst thing that can happen? What? You fail the course. Okay. You pass other courses, you fail this course, and then what? You then come back and what? You repeat the course, or maybe you change majors. What's the worst thing that can happen? You will still be alive. You will still have an opportunity to be here, impact your life and to study, the worst thing that can happen is, yeah, maybe you have to repeat the course. But okay, you're like 23. In the grand scheme of things, repeating the course is really not a big deal. And don't get me wrong here, guys. I'm not advocating for an environment of failure where we accept, failure and we're okay and we're just like, yeah, whatever. What I'm saying is, in the grand scheme of things, when you look at your life and you think about the places you want to go, the things you want to achieve, the lives that you want to impact, when you think about the grand scheme of your life and just how much you've got going for you, just how blessed you are, how much opportunity you have, you actually realize that these things that I'm worried about are really, in the grand scheme of things, they're really not like things to be so overwhelmingly stressed about. You wake up tomorrow morning, you go to your classes and you continue, you keep going. And this is what you need to always think about and I say this, and I use this a lot. I say this a lot to the youngsters that I engage with. And I use this a lot in my life when I think about the challenges I'm facing. And you guys know that I'm a full-time entrepreneur. So my life is full of challenges. Like my day is about challenges, unforeseen challenges, of how I'm going to navigate my business. I'm going to navigate my life, my family around all of these challenges. So I live in a world where I'm constantly, getting punched in the mouth, to paraphrase Mike Tyson. But I always think to myself, okay, fine. Worst case, best case, let's find a way to move forward. So you always need to always be cognizant of the fact that in the grand scheme of things, the things that you're actually worrying about are actually not things to be worried about. And I remember once I was listening to Brian Houston, and he was talking about the recession. This was back in 2010, 2009, that time of the huge recession, like the biggest recession since, the biggest global recession since the Great Depression. And he was basically just like talking to people. He was saying that, guys, it's a time of recession. People are losing their jobs. Companies are downsizing. Things are more expensive. People are tightening their belts up. It is hard. It's globally a hard time. And if you guys, a lot of you guys might have been too young to remember that time. But I think I was doing first year around 2010. So I remember that it was globally a hard time. Companies were shutting down almost every other day. People were losing their jobs. It was a hard time just globally. The global economy took a hard knock. But he was saying to people, and he was basically saying to people that, guys, honestly speaking, what's the worst thing that can happen? You lose your job. Okay, it sucks. You then probably would lose maybe your house, your car, have to move in with family and friends, sleeping on someone's couch, sleeping in a spare room, a guest room, now you're back to taking buses and public transport. And then what? Then eventually the economy recovers, economies are cyclical, companies start hiring again, maybe you decide to start your own business. You use the knowledge you had from corporate, from the job that you had to start your own business, to, move things along in your life. And before you know it, the economy has turned over again and you're back to where you were. You've recovered, And he was basically just saying, guys, in the grand scheme of things, it's going to be okay. That's actually what I'm trying to get at. That when you're being faced with unforeseen challenges and things are not going the way you had envisioned they would, you must remember to keep calm. It will be okay. Just stay focused on achieving what you had set out to achieve. And it's okay, guys, if along the way you need to stop and take stock of what has happened and what is going on. It's okay to be like, sure, Garaf, guys, I need help. Or to be like, yo, Garaf, I need to maybe drop one or two things and just focus on what I need to focus on. It's okay. It is okay. As long as you keep moving forward. you know, and always remember that this too shall pass. Which basically, in direct translation means, in direct translation, it actually means that which does not end is a bad omen. That's a direct translation, but essentially it means that everything ends. You know, this too shall pass. You know, to give a more recognizable quote, this too shall pass. Everything at some point will end. Bad times do not last forever. You know, eventually this too shall pass. Things will turn. And if you can live through those challenges, you either live through them, you find a way around them. But if you can get through those challenges, you come outside of the tunnel stronger, wiser, better, faster, richer, more experienced, you know. And then you find that the more challenges you go through in life, the less anxiety you will have when you're faced with more challenges. And that's what I found in my life. You know, the challenges, and like I said, guys, I'm an entrepreneur, so I am faced with big challenges almost on a daily basis, both personally and more particularly on a business level. But every challenge that the business survives and gets through makes us as a company and as entrepreneurs stronger, because the next time we're faced with the challenge, we're able to look at it and be like, this is actually not a big deal. Like, we're just going to skip over this thing because we've dealt with bigger things, you know, in our lives. So yeah, you know, I don't know if the guys who've joined want to ask any questions or make a comment. Or if you guys have anything that you guys want to say, like I said, please feel free. This platform is for you. You know, so I'm very open to taking questions or comments as I go through this. Yeah, and another thing that I do a lot actually is I listen to motivational like talks on the go actually. So I actually have a playlist of motivational talks that I listen to from speakers across the world. I'll actually put that together for you guys and I'll share that as well, just to help you guys in the right frame of mind. But yeah, so we're gonna be in a couple of minutes. In a couple of minutes we'll be closing off. So I just want to say to you guys that the truth about life is that it is challenging. Life is a journey of ups and downs. It sounds cliche, but life is a roller coaster ride. Life can be the best and the worst at the exact same time. You know, you can receive the best news and the worst news in the same day. So the truth about life, and one thing when you're young in your university, I remember when I was young and studying, you know, you kind of think that this is as hard as it's ever gonna get, you know, that like this course that I'm struggling with, if I can just get through this course, if I can just get, you know, through this first year experience, then, you know, second year will be better. Then you get to second year and second year does the most with you. You know, things are harder. You're dealing with a heavier course load. You know, you're having to learn a new language, new way of thinking. And then you think again, oh, okay, fine, this is as hard as it's ever gonna get. But then you get to final year, and final year throws a whole, you know, new bullets come, you know, your way. And then you get to postgraduate, and you're doing honors, you're doing masters, and that's a new challenge. Then you get into the working world, and you're like, yo, I never thought I'd be challenged this way. The truth about life is, as you move up in life, and as you move forward in life, you're always going to get hit in ways you never expected to get hit. Do not take this as a bad thing. Actually, look at it as a good thing. You know, I am encouraged actually by the challenges that I face in my life, because it means I'm growing. It means I'm actually moving forward. If I'm facing new challenges, I'm finding new ways of maneuvering around those challenges. It means you know, on some level, I'm growing. On some level, I'm moving forward. my life is actually progressing. I'm succeeding. You know, so don't always look at challenges from the perspective of, oh, why me? And oh, what am I gonna do now? Manje. You know, look at it from a perspective of what can I learn from this? What can I take away from this? How can I use this to catapult me to the next level of success, of ambition, of achievement? And when you start looking at challenges in life that way, the challenges that you actually face in life also start changing. So that's one thing that I would definitely encourage you guys to always be aware of in your life, that the only reason why you're being challenged is because you're trying new things. You know, the only reason why you're being challenged by final year, for example, is that you're in final year. You're about to graduate. The only reason why you're being challenged by, you know, looking for a job and being job ready or deciding to go into entrepreneurship is because you're graduating and the system is saying you need to move, Either graduate and do honors or graduate and go get a job, or be an entrepreneur and trade jobs and be in the employment market. So the only reason why those things are hitting you because you've moved forward. The only reason why you're struggling with first year is because you got through matric. You're done. You got your distinctions. You're in first year now, and now you're being challenged on a whole new level. And it's hard, it's painful, it's difficult, but it's actually a good thing because you've moved up in life. You've moved closer to the things you want to achieve in life. So I actually really do encourage you guys to change the way you look at the things that are challenging you. And the things that are challenging you will change as you change your perspective on them. But yeah, I've actually gone over my allotted time. Guys, thank you very much. This has been awesome. I really hope that you guys like this. Please email us. We've got a new email. I think it's facebook@isfap.co.za. Please email us your comments, your questions. If you want to stay anonymous, it's a great platform for you guys to, you know, ask us your questions and get some assistance, some one-on-one assistance with me. And then yeah, please like, share this. I'm going to be closing this video, but it should be available for the rest of the day, if I'm not mistaken. So please like, comment, share with the rest of your a student community and anyone else that you think might find this helpful. And also, like I said, this platform and this program exists for you. So let me know what you guys think and what you guys want to talk about. Otherwise, thank you very much to the guys who have joined us. And I will be in touch with you guys later. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. Bye.